organizations are under increasing pressure to use suppliers that are ethical, both in business and how they treat people and the environment. So the Ethics Institute has launched the Ethically Aware accreditation. It's an e-learning program for companies who want suppliers trained in responsible business practice. Let's chat more about it now with the Institute's Senior Manager, Kris Dobie. Kris, a very good morning to you. And yes, it is, I suppose, the right time, a very important time for us to be talking about ethics in our country, ethics in business. First, let's look at what has been happening out there in terms of how business is being conducted, especially in our new normal, we have to use that term, and what it is that business owners are doing or not doing right.
Thanks, Rebecca. Look, I think it comes back down to the principle that you can't subcontract your immorality. So that's the starting point we start from. Is a lot of organizations, when they deal with suppliers, they almost use the supplier to act on their behalf in a way that they wouldn't themselves or couldn't themselves because of specific regulations and legislation that prohibits them from doing so. So, the principle very strongly that you can't subcontract your immorality. And for that reason, it becomes very important that businesses know who they're doing business with. They must know the people they're doing business with. There's some kind of due diligence that they have. And you also find that businesses put in place supplier codes of conduct with the businesses. However, those codes of conduct are frequently just signed as part of the contract pack. And what we've started to do is to develop the training program, the Ethically Aware Supplier Induction Program, that provides clarity to organizations about the key ethical issues in business.
Okay, so you've developed the content for what is in this. How did you actually determine the standard? I mean, one person's ethics is somebody else's poison, I suppose. And so how do we know sort of what's the absolute right thing to do?
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of organizations are quite mature in terms of how they manage this. There's also international standards that provide you with guidance, and we used as a foundation the United Nations Global Compact. That talks about 4 areas. It talks about, we've translated that into 4 areas as well: doing business with integrity, the environmental side of things, treating your staff fairly, and then lastly, your social impact or your societal impact. And then we went into the supplier codes of conduct for a number of large organizations, and we sort of tried to look at what is in 99% of those codes. What do they deal with? And we brought that into our training material.
All right. So, we've had such a history of sort of corruption. It's still here, Kris. We're dealing with this on a bigger level than we've had ever before. And, if we look at examples, BEE fronting and what was happening or what is possibly still happening, I mean, how does somebody know? How do they go and check that they're dealing with somebody who lives up to these ethical standards or has this kind of qualification? How do you know for sure?
I think we don't put enough stock into the character of an organization. And your due diligence really is to go and make sure that the organization that you're dealing with is a known organization. It is an organization that has the ability to perform in the area in which you want it to perform. And then that also, one talks about politically exposed people. And obviously, we're not saying that politically exposed people may not be in business, but as soon as there's a politically exposed person in that organization, it raises the risk profile and it raises the red flags. So, for example, bringing on board a business that has the son or daughter of a minister involved when you are dealing with work in that ministry, that causes some serious red flags to come up. So, yeah, we trying to make people aware of what the ethical pitfalls and ethical challenges are through a very engaging training program. So it's all done through animation and storytelling and interactive exercises. We know that we're dealing with businesses. Our focus is predominantly on training the small and medium enterprises, because that's the other challenge that one has. Your larger organizations frequently have the ability to spend money on ethics and ethics training and the like, but your small and medium enterprises don't. So our question was, how do we reach those small and medium enterprises? And how do we make sure that those small and medium enterprises are aware of the ethics standards that they should be complying with?
All right.